No. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, all. Thank you for attending this webinar. Welcome to iExperts webinar. Today, we will discuss how we can make some mapping between the SAMA regulation and the NCA regulation as well. We will make a comparison, not a comparison, we will try to make some mapping between the controls to understand the controls objectives, to understand how we can implement these controls and increase the maturity level of each control, how we can enhance the controls objectives and achieve the control objectives in a very easy way. All of this will be discussed in the next 35 minutes. In 35 minutes, we will discuss how we can make some mapping between both. And then at the end of the day, we can, after that, we will accept your questions so we can have some discussions between both. Let's start with the SAMA regulation. SAMA regulation, as you know, in SAMA regulation, it is contain four domains, starting from the governance and going to the risk and the compliance, the GRC. You can find the GRC in the first two domains of SAMA regulation. SAMA regulation, the Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority, they set some regulation for the banks, for the companies that are working in the financial sector, in the fintech. Fine. If you are working in the financial sector, you are in the exposure of SAMA regulation. In SAMA regulation here, we have to implement the four domains controls. We have four domains. In these four domains, you can find that we have to implement the leadership, the governance, this number one, risk compliance. Why I am saying it's a triangle like that? Because this is the GRC. This is the GRC, governance, risk, compliance. Governance, setting directions and objectives, helping you to set very clear business objectives and make some mapping for your security objectives to your business objectives. The main objectives of the regulation is to be safe, is to be secure, is how to protect yourself, how to protect your customers, how to protect your business. Fine. So that's all. This is the main factor. Then we have the number three, the main number three, the security operation and technology. In the security operation and technology, it makes sense because after you set the plan, you have to go next and you have to take some steps to operate your cybersecurity, and we have some controls, very clear controls, helping you to achieve that. Then number four, vendor management. Why? Because at the end of the day, in third-party cybersecurity, nowadays we are depending on outsourcing. Nowadays we have a partners to providing us with the service and so on. So at the end of the day, we have many relationships with external parties. Why I am saying that they are external parties or external stakeholders? Because they are not in my organization. They are external to my organization. So we have to make some arrangement. Fine. SAMA applicability. The applicability of SAMA, it's applicable on all the banks are operating in Saudi Arabia, all insurance, reinsurance companies that are operating in Saudi Arabia, all the financing companies, any company that are working in the fintech or financial sector in generic. When we go to the NCA regulation, in the NCA regulation, you can find the following. In the NCA regulation, it is NCA stand for National Cybersecurity Authority, as you know. Today, we are not just introducing this regulation to say you have to be compliant and so on. No. What we are doing today is we are trying to make some mapping between the two frameworks. So first, we We'll speak about the two frameworks, fine, and then we will speak about how we can make some mapping between the controls. Because at the end of the day, maybe you write one policy, and this policy it's considered as it's considered as a control for two or three or four regulation. Yeah, the PCI DSS, SAMA regulation, NCA, ISO 27201, this four regulation and industrial standard and international standards. We have regulation, NCA and SAMA regulation. PCI DSS, it's considered as industrial standard. ISO 27201, it's considered as international standard. So I can write here password policy mapped for the for one, for this four requirements, for the regulation and the international and industrial standard that I must be compliant with. The rule here of the ISO 27201 is to make sure that you are compliant with the regulation as per ISO 27201 in the Annex 18, the compliance. You must be compliant with all of that, with your local regulation. So NCA here, this is the National Cybersecurity Authority in Saudi Arabia. They set a role model, fine, by setting some essential cybersecurity controls that everybody must adhere to. Everybody must adhere to achieve this ECC, Essential Cybersecurity Controls. If you are working in a different market, there are another controls. But today, this the Essential Cybersecurity Controls here that got released in 2018. Fine, it is something essential for you to be implemented. We have five domains. The first, cybersecurity governance. Again, I think this is ring a bell at yours because this is already can be mapped to the SEMA regulation. Number two is the cybersecurity defense. I think this can ring a bell for me to the NEST cybersecurity framework. Yeah, this is very related to NEST cybersecurity framework, and we will discuss why. Cybersecurity defense, cybersecurity resilience makes sense for me. Makes sense for me that when we discuss the cybersecurity resilience topics, how we can achieve specific level of resilience for our cybersecurity controls, because we are using this 7 types of controls that we have. Even it was directive control, corrective controls, detective control, preventive control, compensating control, recovery control. Fine. Regardless the type of control, first we are trying to keep these controls up and running to protect our business, to achieve its objectives. So this is the cybersecurity resilience. Number 4, third party and the cloud computing cybersecurity. I think NCA, they took a good step for the cloud computing. It's crystal clear here that part of our service providers, they will be on the cloud. Yeah, everywhere nowadays, you can purchase WAF, Web Application Firewall, as box, as an appliance, or as a service. You can purchase SIEM solution as a box, or you can subscribe to this one as a service. So this is the third party and the cloud computing cybersecurity. This is the number 4 of the regulation. And then the ICS cybersecurity, and we will discuss. Here you can find that we can make some mapping in a very clear way. Find here in this topic. The cybersecurity leadership and the governance of SAMA. Fine. The cybersecurity leadership and the governance security in SAMA. Fine. You can make some mapping here. Remember, we have to discuss this point that in the NCA, in the essential cybersecurity controls, we have 5 main domains. For the 5 main domains, we have 29 subdomains, fine? And then, as a total, we have 114 cybersecurity control. So in this 114 cybersecurity controls, it is mapped to this 5 domains that we have here. So the governance, the risk management, and the compliance that highlighted by green, the first 2 domains can be mapped to the same almost the same requirements, or by bringing these 2 requirements behind each others. We can see that it's very similar. In the designing phase, we can design some controls, good controls that can achieve both. First and second domains for SAMA and the first domain of the NCA. Then, when we go to the operation technology, in SAMA, they set it as operation security, operation and technology as a one domain. And we will see the controls now. We will see the controls and we will see something, to be honest, something fantastic. It has been developed or has been utilized in SAMA regulation. Fine, something fantastic, something related to the measurement, because you have to remember what you cannot measure, you cannot manage. What you cannot measure, you cannot manage. So in SAMA, we have something named CCM, Capability Maturity Model. Fine. See, CMM here, the Capability Maturity Model here, fine. It's something perfect, more than perfect, because maybe I can see many organizations, they are saying we are compliant with SAMA regulation, but we are not on the same level. This organization X is compliant on this level, but this organization Y is compliant on this level. You are achieving the control. Everybody can write a policy, but not everybody is implementing this policy. Is set this policy to be proactive, is trying to utilize and make some customization for this policy to be more, to cover more topics, to cover more areas in the organization. And not everybody is trying to go to level 4. Making measurements is getting some KPIs, some KGIs, key performance indicators, key goal indicators. You understand me? Then nobody is going to the optimization. Not everybody, I mean, not everybody is going to the optimization level 5, as we will discuss in the CCM. Maybe this organization here in the level 1, they just wrote a password policy. That's all. And then they made nothing. So this is something has been developed by SAMA, and we will discuss this one. In the third domain in SAMA, as you see, in the security operation, we can make some good mapping between this security operation and the defense and the resilience. Defense and resilience, the second, the third domains, fine, in the NCA, and this can be very, very useful to make some mapping between both, because at the end of the day, let's be honest, after we set the strategy, after we set the levels that we will do, that we will try to reach, fine, and so on, fine, we will try to go to achieve the organization requirements or the organization objectives by the operation, by operating in a good way, operating in a standard way. So we are giving you the way to how to operate the operation here, including the security awareness, the incident handling, the auditing, the penetration testing, the vulnerability assessment, how you can operate and manage the information security. This is very important for you. This is very important for everybody. Then in the third party cybersecurity, yeah, you can see it's highlighted by the purple color. Fine. It is number 4 here, number 4 here, and then the ICS cybersecurity controls. I see that now we can go to explore more, explore the controls, and I prefer to explore the controls from the documents itself, from the document itself, the publication, and you can download these publications and this regulations, this standards the NCA website and from the SAMA website. We will send later this recording, the recording of this webinar, in addition to the links of this presentation and the links of the this regulation as well, because we have some persons are attending for us first time to them to know more about this SAMA and NCA. So let's start with the NCA Essential Cybersecurity Controls. Fine. This is the traffic light protocols. This is how they classify the information. Fine. So this is the table of content. We can see it's very clear for us here, the 5 parts, the 5 domains that we have here. Fine. So let's go. We have here, as we said, we have here the cybersecurity, essential cybersecurity controls exist in 5 domains, in 29 cybersecurity subdomain, fine, in 114 cybersecurity controls, fine. At the end of the day, if you ask me, what is the main reason to have this regulation? What is the main reason for that? It is to achieve the controls. It's to achieve the objectives of the controls. What are the objectives of the controls? It is the CIA. CIA, confidentiality, integrity, availability. Confidentiality, integrity, availability. So at the end of the day, if you ask me how we can achieve the controls, it's through the PPT. PPT. PPT stands for People, Process, Technology. People, Process, Technology. People, Process, Technology mainly, and we added here the strategy because I can add the control in people by giving them training, awareness, by process, by designing a process policy, something like that, and the technology. I can achieve the control by utilize some technology, by utilize some devices and so on. This is the scope of the work, and this is the statement of the applicability, statement of applicability here. This is a very common word we are using when we are performing some compliance, when we are performing some compliance. Some compliance here, usually we are giving you statement of the applicability. For example, it's very clear in ISO 27201. We have here a statement of applicability here, why we are saying that this control is applicable or not applicable. This is first to do after making the scoping in the ISO 27201 implementation. Fine. So this is the implementation and the compliance. At the end of the day, it is considered as assessment and compliance tool. Yeah, this document is considered as assessment and compliance. Assessment, I can assess you. I can assess your controls as a service provider against this regulation. Also, it is considered as a compliance control. Remember, CISO, any CISO are attending with us here. Mr. CISO, the compliance is a tool in your hands. Remember this. When you have more compliance in your hands, which is mean you have more tools in your hands. Yeah, very clear for me. Very clear for me that when I manage more compliance, which is mean I have more authority. I have more power inside my organization. I have more criticality and sensitivity of my data that I am managing here. Yeah, I am managing here a critical function because we are compliant with X of regulation. If we do some activities, inappropriate activities, I am not sure that this is a good activities. I don't like this activities as a CISO. I will raise a flag that this is will be something harmful for the compliance. So the upper management can adhere more to and can hear me more and give me more support because I am managing a compliance. So this is the way how to do it, how to be a successful CISO. You must have a good compliance in your hand. You have to manage fine to maintain this compliance in a good way. So this is a tool in your hand here, fine. And at the end of the day, it is released here in 2018, fine. This is the why we are saying that NCA it's a mandate here, fine. This equivalent to 1439 in Hijri date, fine. So at the end of the day, this is the main. Yeah, we can find here, I can show you here, this very clear here. It's very clear here, this essential controls. You can find here, this is section, this is the 5 domains that we have here, fine. And then you can find here the subcontrols. Let's explore the controls together, fine. First, the cybersecurity governance here. Here you have to set the governance, define the management, define rules and responsibilities. By the way, do you see, in my mind now, I can make mapping for each one with another compliance, like ISO 27201. Fine. Like, yes, this rules and responsibilities. By the way, wait, I remember in PCI DSS, we have also defined some rules and responsibilities. Fine, yeah, for the critical functions or for the critical network functions or system functions that manage something very near for the credit card information. Risk management. Risk management. If you remember again, this graph here, I'm speaking in the NCA. I'm here. I'm describing the control in NCA. I'm here in the security governance. It's a big one, so you can find here. It's discussing the risk management, number 2. As I told you, in number 2 in SAMA, as I told you, these two are mapped to this one. Let's return here, fine, let's return here, this risk management. Cybersecurity and information technology project management must be involved. Periodic, how you can, again, this is the audit. We remember, Ahmed, that you said that in the operation, how you can operate the audit, that's correct? In the operation, domain number 3 in SAMA. But in the governance level, I have to set how much frequent the audit must take place. Fine. And the cybersecurity review, compliance with cybersecurity standards, laws, regulation, human resource. It's ring a bell for me because this is very clear to be mapped to ISO 27201 controls, the 114 as well, by the way, controls in ISO 27201. We have some regulation, we have some controls we have to arrange with the HR. We have to arrange this with the HR, fine, with the before the employment, during employment, after employment. Yeah, we have some controls. Fine. And then the awareness and training program, how you can define this on this level. Then let's go to the next one, cybersecurity defense. Cybersecurity defense. Fine. Asset management. Fine. Email protection, identity, IAM, identity and access controls, network security management, data and information protection, backup and recovery management, pen test, physical security, vulnerability assessment, cryptography, all of this, it's considered as the cybersecurity defense. Let's return here as well. I told you that all of these activities exist in the operation. In the operation, tell me more about the pen test programs that you are managing. Vulnerability assessment. Yeah, we have some requirements. We have some requirements because we can see in the market that there is some organization or some companies providing you with excellent service of pen test, while another companies are providing you with low quality penetration test service. So you as a CISO, you as an information security manager, compliance manager, you have some requirements now you have to adhere to select the quality of the controls and the quality of the penetration testing service that you will get fine from other companies. So of course we have some controls on and requirements on the cryptography. Fine. I'm reminding you, by the way, if you have any question now, please write down in the chat box. Please write down on the chat box. Fine. I think you are allowed to chat. You are allowed to send some questions on the chat box. So please share your questions on the chat to be answered in the last 10 minutes of our webinar. Fine. So this is the cybersecurity defense here. Incident and threat management, physical security, web application security. Yeah, yeah, very important for me. 82% of the web application vulnerabilities exist in the code level. So please, we need our developers to be trained well, how to write secure code. Yes, we have to do this. We have to consider that. The resilience. Resilience here, I'm speaking something more, something wider than the business continuity. The resilience here, it's considered as fine, the availability controls, the availability here, fine, control here for the services, for the controls, the availability control for all of your security controls. How I can manage the redundancy, the high availability of my cybersecurity controls. Cybersecurity controls that you have designed in people process technology. It doesn't make sense. In people here, of course, I will consider the segregation of duties. Also, I will consider the conflict of interest. I will consider the availability of the resources. I will consider everything in our environment. SIEM, how you can manage the logs and so on. Fine. So we can say that number 2 and number 3 are mapped to here to the SAMA regulation, the cybersecurity operation and technology. Make sense? Then let's go to number 4. Number 4, the third party and cloud computing cybersecurity. Here we have some security controls for cybersecurity and cloud computing, hosting services, and so on. Finally, if your organization it has some SCADA system, some industrial systems, we set in the generic, in the essential cybersecurity controls, we set some cybersecurity requirements for your industrial system. Remember, this is the essential cybersecurity controls. For some another industries, we have another controls by the National Cybersecurity Authority, الهيئة الوطنية للأمن السيبراني. This is the controls of SAMA. Let's go and let's return again to, this was the controls of NCA, National Cybersecurity Authority. Let's return to SAMA. SAMA, when we speak about the controls, you can find all the controls here. You can find the controls. This is the regulation, and this is the cybersecurity framework here. You can find here, this is first section here. The governance. In the governance, we are discussing the governance, strategy, policy. I think the mapping can be done this way. The mapping can be done this way. Strategy, governance, policies. Yeah. Here, each word, rules and responsibilities, makes sense for me because I see some rules and responsibilities here. The cybersecurity in project management, awareness, training, cybersecurity in project management, awareness, training, very clear for me. Number 2, risk management, regulatory compliance, compliance with national and international industrial standards, cybersecurity review, cybersecurity audit. This is a cybersecurity review, this is a cybersecurity audit. This is the compliance with the standards, laws, regulation, This is the risk management. I think you agree with me now. I think you agree with me now that yes, we can make some good mapping between both. Fine, between both. Fine. Um, how I can, we can let me, we will discuss here the maturity models, by the way. Fine, and we will answer all of these perfect questions. Thank you. I need more questions from you, by the way. Fine. Then let's go to number 3, the operation, the heart of this engine. The operation here, you can see that we have human resource, physical security, asset management. I think we have discussed asset management, human resource. Where is the human resource? A human resource here as a level. At the end of the day, it exists in the compliance. Fine. But here we doing this in number 3, infrastructure security, cryptography. Fine, cryptography. Cryptography are exist in both. Cryptography are exist in both. In both, we have a questions, by the way, in the for the cryptography, and I will answer this question. Thank you. Fine. Electronic banking service, vulnerability assessment, penetration testing, fine, threat management, threat hunting. Number 4, fine, contract vendor management, outsourcing, cloud computing. That almost, fine, almost here you can find the same third party and cloud computing. By the way, implementing these controls is very easy, but in which compliance level we have to go, in which maturity level? I think one question here, fine, one question here, fine, is about the maturity model and giving example. Fine. So this is the operation. Let's see the maturity model. Fine. The maturity model. Yes, we have the maturity model here of SAMA regulation. Fine. It's here. Yeah. This is a maturity model. This is the one thing that I told you. It's fantastic. Fantastic. You can find this in page number 10. Page number 10. Fine. The cybersecurity maturity model. Of course, this is the CCM. I know this is the CMM, capability maturity models. Number level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know it. I know it from NEST. So this was something brilliant from SAMA when they bring the capability maturity model, fine, and at the end of the day, they utilize this and require this one inside the SAMA regulation. And they added here 0 level, fine, non-existence, which means that you don't have the controls at all. Fine, no documentation, no awareness, no attention, nothing but nothing. Level 1 here, ad hoc. You start here partially to implement the controls, to set some reactive controls, some reactive policies. Yeah, I can touch that you are trying to being compliant. This level 1. Level 2, repeatable, uh, something you have repeated activities. You have some activities repeated here. Fine. So the execution here of cybersecurity control based on the informal or unwritten here through standardized here, cracks and so on. Fine. So at the end of the day, is this something repeated? Fine. Level number 3, structured and formalized. Structured and formalized. Number 3 here, what's the meaning of repeated activities, please? Number 2, which is mean that at the end of the day, you are making some review for your policy. From time to time, maybe every 2 years or something like that. Fine. But at the end of the day, you have some repeated activities. It's poorly controlled, by the way. Level number 3, structured and formalized. Yes, I have clear cybersecurity controls defined, approved from the upper management, implemented in a structured and formalized way, taking place, achieving its objectives, and everything is good. I see GRC, I see compliance. But level 4, fine, and this is the big difference between level 3 and level 4. Between level 3 and level 4? That you are making some measurement. And remember, what you cannot measure, you cannot manage. Number 4 here, managed and measurable. And it is managed because it is measurable. Fine. You have here some KPIs, KGIs, KRIs, KPI, key performance indicator, KGI, key goal indicator, sorry, KRI, key risk indicator. So at the end of the day, you have a very clear for me measurement, very clear measurement. So this what helping you, one of the question here, how to ensure that the control maturity is not reduced after some time by the measurement, periodic measurement, by jumping to level 4 and stay on level 4. Yeah, you understand me? Make sense? Make sense? Let's go to level 4, stay on level 4. Let's go to the measurement and make measurement all the time. So on this way, I can say that you are on level 4. Number 5 here, adaptive. Adaptive here, or as per the CCM, the CMM, capability maturity model, there are another name for this level 4. We are calling this one optimization or optimizing, that I am trying to optimize, fine, all the time, fine. So at the end of the day, I'm trying to optimize, fine, which is mean that I am on level 4 and I'm trying to optimize again and again and again. This is level 5. I'm not considering that this level 5 something easy to be achieved. Yes, this is big, huge effort, and it's highly appreciated for me from my side to be on level 4. Level 4 is very high level, by the way. Level 4 is very high level. Number 3, it's a good one, but I don't like to be on level 2. Doesn't make sense for me. You have to jump to level 3 or level 4, and it must be based on a clear plan. If you don't have a plan, you have just a dream. You understand me? Fine. So I think this is the cybersecurity controls. I think that we can take some questions here. First one, when we want to map SAMA to ECC, where would the NCS stand, which is related to cryptographic control? Regarding cryptographic control, fine. This is a cryptographic control of the NCA. Fine. It's very light, very clear here. Fine. Or we can say it is very generic cryptographic controls. I'm saying here, fine, the requirement for the cryptography must be defined, documented, and approved. Fine. When you use something like this, it must be approved solution. Approved solution. What's the meaning of approved solution? Don't go to use a system that are using here find DES as symmetric algorithm. No, we need to go to AES. If you are using here something with old version of TLS to secure the communication here, fine. No, where's secure communication? I'm sorry, this is securing the key. This is the key management. Fine. So when you are using to make some communication, I must certify here the RSA. The RSA. If you are going to exchange the keys or manage the keys, you must use something mature. You must use here something like key management solution based on cloud service or something like that. Fine. If you have specific cloud, let's go to the CSA, Cloud Security Alliance. They have some requirement on the CCM, Cloud Control Matrix. Cloud Control Matrix. It is some industrial controls, some industrial standards in the cloud computing. So I can give you more controls on the key management over the cloud. Fine. So at the end of the day, fine, this is the encryption data in transit here and the data at rest. Data in transit, we are using this is the DIM, fine, or data in transit DIT, or data in motion here, or also we are calling it DIM. Fine, we are using here something like RSA, data at rest, when we save the data, when we store the data on hard disks online or at archive or in archived systems or something like that. Fine. So we have to use something like AAS or something like that. So at the end of the day, you can find in both in some regulation, and the and NCA, it is a standard generic requirements. By considering the best practice in the cryptography, Said Abdullah, fine, we can say that it will be something very good for you and very clear, and you can achieve both. Fine. I hope I answered your question. Fine, thank you. Second, the question from Rami Sabri: how can I differentiate if a control is on maturity 2, 3? Can you give an example? I think that I have answered this one, Rami. Could you confirm, please? Fine. Because level 2, for example, which is mean the control here, it is can it's exist, but it is not in a well structure. It is not defined in a policy. Sometimes I visit some organization and I can find the controllers exist, but not documented. You understand me? They have here some good rules in the firewalls, but it is not documented. Why? You are doing it. Why to write and document and manage? So this is what differentiate between 2 and 3. Fine. By the way, I cannot say that all the organization on level 2, all the organization on level 3, all the organization on level. I cannot all say that all the controls inside this organization on a specific level. No. I am saying that this control in the organization level 2, this control level 3, this control is level 4, this control 2. So you can find the numbers here: 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. You understand me? I hope I answered you, Mr. Rami Sabri. Sayyid Abdullah, what is the best scoring framework that we can utilize when we do audit assessment against NCA? The best scoring one is the CMM, Capability Maturity Models. And personally, in iExperts, we are doing something like this. When we provide a service or something like that. We are doing something like this. The first audit, this is the maturity. Fine. The audit maturity, the recommendation, the targeted maturity, and the final audit. So we have initial audit and final audit, and between both, we have some recommendation and the targeted maturity. For example, in application security, I can say in the initial audit that you are on level 1, level 2. I give you some recommendation to jump to level 3. In the final audit, I must find you on level 3. I hope I answered you, Mr. Abdullah. Fine, that's correct. Could you confirm, please? Again, Rami, can you explain the cybersecurity review domain? Cybersecurity review domain in the NCA, it seemed like an audit type of engagement, where in SAMA it seemed like a technical review, like a penetration test. Fine. I cannot say it in this way. Fine. So, for example, here, let's make our explanation here, because I have something clear. Fine. I have something clear. For example, here, this is the review. I think you are asking about I'm sorry, because there is many questions. Cybersecurity review domain. Fine. This is the periodic review. I'm asking, you are meaning this one? You are meaning this one, Rami? Fine. So this is the periodic cybersecurity. This is on the level of the audit. This is on the level of the audit. What's the meaning of, on the level of the governance? You understand how we can do this? For example, here, cybersecurity review audit, we have a mother policy. One policy, very useful for everybody. This policy here, we call it the information security policy. This is the mother policy for all the policies. And in this policy, you have to show me how periodically you will perform internal audit, external audit, XYZ compliance audit, pen test regulation and something like that. So we can do it in this way. Fine. So this is from governance level. Fine. Why on SAMA? Fine. It is also not related to pen test or something like that, Rami. Fine. You can find here the, oh yeah, I'm sorry. This is the, oh, I'm sorry, this is the audit. This is the audit mechanism. Yeah. Again, it exists also on the level here of the cybersecurity review here. Fine. On the compliance level, I think it is the same. Fine. It's the same like the NCA. I hope I answered you. I hope I answered you, Rami. Fine. I hope you understand me. Fine. Because thank you. Yes, perfect. Fine. So because in the cyber, as long as it's in the governance level, which is mean it's document, I'm setting for you the rules of the review. But in the operation, how to perform this review? You understand? Or performing this review, taking steps to perform this review. Thank you, Rami. Thank you, Rami. How to ensure the control on the maturity is not reduced after some time? By audit the control from time to time. And I recommend to be audited by a third party. Fine. Why? Because auditing by a third party, it will be very helpful for you, because having an external eye from outside, it will be very useful. Fine. Rami again said maturity 3 mentions maturity 3 mentioned here. Fine. That maturity 3, fine, mentioned where mentioned in the description that the KPI are defined and monitored to evaluate the implementation, which confused with me. I cannot understand your question. If you can explain again, fine, Rami. Maybe what you read here, the KPI can be exist, but it's, I cannot see any report for this KPI. For example, here I said I'm sitting here on my office here, and I'm saying I should drive my car fine and not exceeding the speeds. When I drive my car, I shouldn't exceed, for example, 60 mile per hour, 100, for example, kilometer per hour. Fine. This is what I said, but I am still on office. I am not driving a car. You will be on level 4 when you show me some reports that you has been drive your car, for example, for 1 month, and you didn't exceed this 100 kilometer. Fine. This is the report. So in this way, I can say that you are on level 4. That you are on level 4. So I will be happy from you. I will be happy. You understand? You understand me? Understand me? Fine. So this is what's the difference between number 4 and number 3. Number 4 is the implementation, is the result, showing me the measurement results. Fine. Another question is from MK. There is a self-assessment sheet for SMA for SAMA CSF. Yes, of course. After your justification of the control of the maturity will be calculated. And I think also I show you how we can make this calculation. Yes, thank you. FEM is also a crucial part for SAMA regulation as well as, fine, because here we are FEM regulation here, or FEM here, as you said, Hassan. Fine, FEM here, fine, integrity monitoring. At the end of the day, fine, when we go to FEM, fine, we have to keep the integrity, fine, and it can be managed, fine, by another regulation, or it can be managed by or required by another industrial standards like BCI DSS or something like that. Another question, also one more question, is there is available template on NCA ECC questions and audits? Yes, there is many available one. Also, I will try to share. With you. Fine. This is MK. MK was trying to answer Rami. Fine. There is an Excel sheet. Yeah. Fine. Okay. I understand you. Fine. Yes, we have this template. Also, we will send one email. Fine. we will send one email. It will contain something like that. Fine. And at the end of the day, my advice for you, you have to understand the controls well. Fine. By the way, we are open for any question. If you have any question, by the way, drop us an email. Fine. Drop me personally an email. Fine. And we have, I think I will share our email on the chat box. Fine. This is my email here. Fine. Prof Ahmed at iExperts.co. Fine. So you can find all of our information and all of our contact here. Fine. And you can follow us also on LinkedIn and Twitter and all the social network. Fine. So you can follow us on the social network. Our username, it's iExperts10 in all the network. This is my email, profahmed at iExperts.co, and this is our email. This is our username on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and so on. If you have any question anytime, and we will be very happy to help. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the conference. Fine. I hope you enjoyed here the webinar. Fine. In a very short time, I think overall we didn't exceed here 1 hour. Fine. So I hope you enjoyed the webinar. Thank you very much, and see you in another conferences. And Ramadan Kareem alaikum. See you. Assalamu alaikum. See you inshallah. Bye bye. Thank you.